This is Fatima Abu Deeb, and this is the program assignment number 1 for week 2, lecture 1. The program name is Movie Data, and the requirement of this program is to create a class called Movie Data that have 5 methods. The first method called load data, and we have to implement it. The idea of load data is just to read a file and then take the information that we need from the file to initiate the instance variable. Okay, so as we can see, as I said, this is the file that called uData. It contains 4 columns. The first column is the user ID, the second column is the movie ID, the third one is the rating, and the last one is the timestamp. We will focus on the 3 columns here. My idea is to create a hashed data structure that has a value of hash. The idea here is just to store so that each user could have a hash value, which means that the first hash has a key of user ID, and the value of this hash will be another hash, and this hash has a key as the movie ID, and the value of this the second hash is the rating. So every user will have a hash variable that contain all the movie that he watched and his rating. The second variable here is also a hash, but the key will be the movie ID, and the value of this hash will be an array of all rating that belong to this movie. Here just we are populating the value of user and movie, and return user and movie to the initialize method that work as a constructor. And the purpose of initialize method is just to give the value or store the value to instance variable that I have here, which called user interest and movie rating. The second method is popularity. This method should take movie ID and then return the popularity of this method. The popularity of this method is gonna be a number between 1 and 5. This popularity is depend on the movie rating. As I discussed before, from load data we have an instance variable that called movie rating, and the purpose of this instance variable that we have the key, which is the movie ID, and the value of this key will give me an array of all rating. So this method will return here the array of rating and then loop through each rate and sum them to have the mean of all movie rating, and this will give me the popularity to return it at the end here. The third method is popularity list, and the idea of this method is just to retrieve a list of popular movie in descending order, which means the one with higher popularity will be first. So I create a hash value, a hash data structure called movie popularity. The key will be the movie ID and the value will be the popularity. I populate this hash by having the key as movie ID and then using the popularity method to return the popularity, and this will loop through each, and this will loop through each movie ID. At the end, I will have each movie with its popularity, but I have to sort them in regard to the popularity in descending order, and this line here will do this magic, and then I will return a list of the movie with popularity in descending order. The third method is called similarity. Similarity will have two parameters. The first one is user ID 1, and the second one is user 2 ID. And the idea of this method is just to compute the similarity between user 1 and user 2. And my idea to solve this problem is just to as we can see here, I create a variable called shared movie, which is an array, and then I return user 1 a preference and user 2 a preference, and then see the intersection between user 1 and user 2. Then check if the shared movie between them is 0. If the shared movie between them is 0, it means that they are not similar at all. But if there is an intersection, it means that they are similar. But we have to check the rating. Is the rating for this movie that they watch is similar? So I used a formula of Euclidean distance to solve this problem. Here we can see this is the formula of Euclidean distance, and so this method will return a value between 0 and 1. Whenever the value is near from 1, it means that the user 1 is similar to user 2. This method here is power, and I use it just as a complementary method to solve some other problem in the program. The last method is called most similar, and the idea of this method is just to retrieve the user that are most similar to the person that I pass it to this method. As we can see here, I create a variable called similar list as a hash data structure. And the idea of most similar here is that I'm gonna to, as with the popularity list, I'm gonna to have a hash with a key as a user ID and the value as the similarity, the degree of similarity, and I can have the degree of similarity using the previous method similarity. But the problem here is most similar, that we would like to retrieve just the person who's similar, not like with popularity where we would return all the movie but with descending order. So in my point of view, I will think that this person is similar to me if has a degree of similarity more than 0.6, which I do here. But at the same time, I was thinking that maybe some person will not have any people with this percent or degree of similarity. So I was thinking that if the higher value of the similarity is more than 0.1, then I can give him some preference that this user maybe is gonna be similar to you. So this is the idea of most similar, and the most similar will retrieve me uh, the people will retrieve a list of the people that they are most similar to me. Here we can see the run of this program. As we can see here, this is the run of the program. Here the first 10 popular movie is, and here we can see the 10 popular movie, which means that 1293 is the popular movie now, and the last 10 that they are not popular, the last one is 1659. The most similar to user 1 is user 812, then 418 and 155. Actually, these results happen after we finish from the class using by creating an object called movie user, and then calling the method, and then promote this output to the user.